Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a Joltik Box ASMR style TCG Live gameplay for you. We've got 3 matches and I enjoyed them. I love playing Joltik Box. I enjoyed every single match and I think you guys are going to enjoy it too. Let's jump right into the gameplay. The list is in the description. All that you missed was that my opponent played a Snorlax, a Cramorant, and a Tatsugiri onto their bench and attached Darkness Energy to their Munkidori. We're going to go ahead and start things out by searching with the Ultra Ball. And we're probably going to be happy to get rid of a Pokégear here and a Crispin. So we'll go ahead and do just that. We'll keep our Ultra Ball. You know what? Let's Ultra Ball again in just a second. I think that'll be fine. Then we'll go ahead and play our Joltik. Because what we have to do here is Ultra Ball away the boss's orders and the basic grass energy so that we can start to get some acceleration going. And I'm probably just going to choose Miraidon so that we can get some other Pokemon involved too. Now that we have the Miraidon, we can go ahead and Crispin, and we'll attach the lightning energy and just some energy to retreat as well. Let's go ahead and do the basic grass energy and leave our other guys in the deck. So we're going to choose one to put in our hand. In this case, I'll go ahead and choose this one to go to the hand. Nah, I changed my mind. We're going to go ahead and put the grass on the active, or rather the lightning on the active. Then we're just going to retreat into Joltik and attach. And then we will tandem unit to get 2 things. Probably going to be an Iron Hands, because we can already see some juicy knockouts that we can take later, and a Pikachu just in case they go for the Zacian, we want to be able to knock him out. So as far as our jolting charge goes, we don't have any cards in hand, so because of that, I think the safest thing for me to do is just put all of it on the Iron Hands. That way we're very likely to be able to take 2 prize cards next turn, or at least 1 if they retreat and hide into the Snorlax. Now it's just occurring to me that we probably had a better play in Miraidoning, like Ultra Balling for Miraidon as the first thing that we did. So that way we could get the Joltik and the Iron Hands, let's say. We wouldn't have the Pikachu, but we would have another Pokemon from our second Ultra Ball that we could search up, and that would have been a Mew, so that we have the Mew instead of the Pikachu, so that we can restart and we'd be looking at a 3-card hand with the potential to draw more cards, and that'd be much better. So we do get insta-struck, and we're going to be drawing off a Fezandipiti. So we did get bailed out by our opponent for not benching the Mew. Pikachu is also safe from the insta-strike damage. Oh, interesting. And our opponent didn't realize that. It's almost, I spoke it into existence. I commanded them to attack with a Pikachu. So, next up, we'll Crispin. We'll flip the script. Do I want to flip the script into energy? Probably not. I think I'll tandem unit first. I don't want to get something that's insta-strikeable. So the Joltik would just be way too easy of a prize for him. I wouldn't mind getting another Pikachu just to thin the deck. But ultimately, we're going to leave it in because it would just be a liability at this point. We'll go ahead and charge up our other attacker. Now we'll flip the script first. Cool. Then this game, I don't think we're gonna need the Latias, so I'm happy to get a Metal Energy and let's get the Psychic Energy. That way we can Pokégear. Nah, that way we can Crispin first for these 2. Doesn't matter which order we put them on. And then we'll have the attachment next turn so that we could swing with the Pikachu if we want to. But in the meantime, I'm gonna save the Pokégear because I'm not gonna play a supporter this turn, and we're gonna arm press for 160. The great thing about arm pressing for 160 is the next turn if he does leave the Hops Zacian in the active, we can take 3 prize cards with Amp You Very Much. So we're just getting warmed up. This is a nice warm-up match where I'm getting used to the ASMR style of commentary, where I'm just going to keep talking as we work through this, as we work on defeating our opponent. So they're playing the Arven. Naturally, they could get the Switch card in order to get themselves out of a sticky spot. I would like to draw a boss's orders. I think I play 4. One thing we'll do in between this match and the next match is we'll just go ahead and check and see how many cards we're playing of each card. So I think we're playing, I know we're playing 4 4 Crispin, 4 Arven. No, 4 Crispin, 4 Boss. I'm not sure if we're playing Arven, and I'm not sure if we're playing Professor's Research. So we'll have to go ahead and look at the list. We'll have to go ahead and look at the deck list after this game. They have choice bands, a choice band on the Snorlax, choice band on the Cramorant, choice band, and they have a choice band on the Hops Zacian. And then they've got the Monkey Dory Adrenabrain to get 30 damage off. Where are they going to put it? In this case, they could finally, maybe they have PTSD and they're not going to ping the Pikachu because they think it won't work. But, in fact, it will work if they chose it. If they chose to Adrenabrain on the Pikachu, then he would definitely take it. So that's a reasonable play for them to make. We're going to see our opponents thinking about it. Maybe that's what they're thinking about. If the Pikachu is protected from the Adrenabrain or not. Nice, they got it. They figured it out. If I had to guess, I would imagine our opponent was reading the card just to see how it works. And, ooh. Luckily, everything has a retreat cost that is manageable. But our opponent is going to choose a new active. So now I'm hoping to Pokégear into Arven, into Prime Catcher. That's right. I know we play Arven in this deck because I know we have Prime Catcher. So he's going to do the Insta Strike. That will make it a little bit more difficult for us to get into the active, but we also have this basic Psychic Energy to spare, not to mention we've got the Rescue Board. Because they attach so many choice bands, I actually would not be totally opposed to benching another Pikachu that might be useful, or rather another Joltik. So let's go ahead and look and see what we've got in our deck. We could bench another Pikachu, we could bench the Joltik. We're really not going to be able to get it charged up though. So I'll just hit done here. We could save the Psychic Energy. We could Pokégear. Pokégear doesn't hit, but it's better to Rescue Board here. And then we'll go ahead and charge up the Pikachu, why not? That way he'll be ready to go, he'll be ready to swing next turn. And we'll use the Rescue Board to retreat into our Iron Hands, and we'll amp you very much to take the knockout on the Zacian. Hops Zacian goes to the discard, and we get 3 prize cards. Now, unfortunately, their Cramorant is going to be able to do a lot of damage because it says if your opponent doesn't have exactly 3 or 4 prize cards remaining, the attack does nothing. But we have 3 prize cards remaining, so the attack does at least 120, plus the Postwick, plus the Snorlax, plus the Choice Band, which I think is 210. But let's go ahead and count it up again. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 210 damage to cleanly knock out our Iron Hands if he so pleases. So the bad news is that really the only way we have to take the return following knockout on the Cramorant is to discard all of our energy with the Pikachu. So that's a bit troublesome. Losing the Iron Hands here is going to be quite the problem for us to overcome. But at least what we can do is bring the Fezandipiti into the active spot. And then perhaps we'll be chilling. So Fezandipiti goes to the active. That's cool. Our turn, we do have Counter Catcher, it's not active. We do have another Pikachu that we can bench. I'm not sure what we play as far as Pokemon or energy recovery. I don't think we play any energy recovery in this deck at all. So I think we're relying on boss's orders here. First, we're going to flip the script. We do get Crispin. Let's go Nest Ball, just because I think that it's possible. Bloodmoon Ursaluna is going to be how we take our final knockout. So that's pretty useful to know. Pretty good for me to realize that we do have the Bloodmoon Ursaluna play. I could see that coming up almost every game. I think what we want to do, because energy might be tight, is one look at the deck to see what we have. Okay, we also have a Clefairy play. We could swing with Clefairy, so that's not the biggest deal. And we can preserve our Pikachu. I don't mind that. Let's go ahead and Crispin to the Clefairy. That way we don't have to find boss's orders, because we have to take an extra card anyway. And then we can find boss next turn. So what we're going to do is just Crispin, and then attach these two energy in any way we like. It doesn't matter here. Attach the metal first, and then we'll manually attach the psychic. We don't have to flip the script, but we can retreat into Clefairy. And then luckily we do have a Bloodmoon Ursaluna to take our final knockout. We're going to Full Moon Rondo here. They're going to have trouble, unless they have an energy switch, charging up their Snorlax to do enough damage. So we're probably going to see, well, we're going to see a Tatsugiri first so they can search for a supporter. They must have a rescue board or something like that in hand. Oh no, they've got the Latias. So they have a free means of checking out their deck just to see what they got going on. So attract customers. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you can look at the top 6 cards of your deck, reveal a supporter card you find there, and put it into your hand. Then you shuffle the other cards back into your deck. So we'll go ahead and see what they get off the Nest Ball. They get their own Bloodmoon Ursaluna. So they can attach 1 energy and swing with the Bloodmoon, which would bring them down to 1 prize card, which would activate our Counter Catcher, so that we could Nest Ball, Counter Catcher, and we'd get it done. Let's see, Team Rocket's Venture Bomb, they do have it. Not sure where they want to put the damage though. It's largely irrelevant for them as far as I can tell. Unless 150 is a number that's, maybe they're trying to have the Zacian able to take a knockout versus multiple Pokemon. So we do get Ionode. Unfortunately, we lose the Counter Catcher and the Nest Ball and the Pokégear. All very useful cards in this situation. But if they take the knockout, they will get to draw 3 cards. Not to mention, we can take our final 2 prize cards with the Pikachu if we have to. I think, unfortunately for our opponent, it's going to be difficult to prevent us from taking prizes this turn, especially with the Latias. So if they do try to trap the Miraidon somehow, it's going to be fine. So I think they're playing more of the game. I think they're playing the game of, let's just see what we can get away with, as many prize cards as we can get, and not the game of, let's go ahead and win this game. So they just wanted to take some extra prize cards in the knockout before they ultimately conceded, and we do win and move on to the next one. So we are going first in this game, and we're going to start things off by searching our deck with Tandem Unit just to see what we have. And we've prized both of our Iron Hands. That's extremely unfortunate. So it looks like our main attacker is going to start out as the Miraidon himself. So we will go ahead and get a Joltik just so that we can thin the deck a little bit. We do have a Joltik in hand. And I'm not too worried about benching the Joltiks, to be honest with you. Another one that we can do is just look through here and see what supporters we've prized. It looks like we prized a good amount of energy. And I'll go ahead and just grab the other Miraidon from the deck as well. So first things first, we're going to attach energy. We could also get down to, if we Mew here in order to draw more cards, that would be pretty good. Because the only play that we have at the moment is a jolting, an eventual jolting charge. So We could Nest Ball here just to make sure that we have the Latias to move around. Everybody has free retreat now. Pretty happy about that. We want to remain like this though. We don't want to give anybody else up. And I'm trying to think if there's another Pokemon that we could want. Basically, I think the way we want to go around... Oh, okay, we did prize the Mew as well. Okay. It might be useful for us to just go ahead and have another attacker in general as well. The Lillie's Clefairy is a pretty big threat. I don't want to have to find it later and have trouble. So while I have all these ball search cards in hand, I'll go ahead and use it. And then I'll probably leave the Ultra Ball so that I can get into a Galvantula, etc. at a certain time. And I already know how I want to accelerate the energy. So when the time comes, we're just going to go ahead and use the tandem unit. Or not the tandem unit. We're going to go ahead and use the Skyliner to retreat into the Joltik and then attack with the Jolting Charge. The Jolting Charge is going to accelerate 2 to the Miraidon. No, 3 to the Miraidon, making sure 2 of them are electric. And then the last one is going to go on to the Clefairy to activate Full Moon Rondo. Except in the case, and I'll go ahead and search my deck just to see, if we have 2 Psychic Energy in deck, then I might want to be attacking with Latias instead, just so that it's easier, and we do, just so it's easier to hit our numbers. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and do exactly that. Choose up to 1 basic, but it is going to be hard to get that Psychic, and those both, it is going to be hard to get both those Psychic Energies on the Latias. Choose up to 1 basic lightning Pokemon put on your bench. I don't want to do that, I don't think, because I do want to leave space for Fezandipiti. We'll go ahead and retreat. We can Jolting Charge here. Definitely want to be able to attack with Miraidon. If we get attacked with Miraidon and Latias back to back in an alternating fashion, that would be pretty cool. That way, if they keep their bench very... What is this? It's a Charmander? For some reason, the Charmander is completely glitched out. That way, if... Oh, he's fixed. Welcome back. And we do have a manual energy attachment as well. So, these are the decisions. The rest, Joltik Box is a pretty easy to play, pretty linear deck when it comes to the later turns. But in this situation, it can be a bit tricky. I think I am going to leave a lot of what's in my hand, not do a manual attachment, and just save that energy. We'll go ahead and put 1 here, and the rest on this Miraidon that's undamaged, just to make it a little bit easier for him to survive a Dragapult attack if that's coming. So he is going to go ahead and get into the Dracloak and evolve into the Charmeleon. And we're going to see the Recon Directive come out. He's going to attach a Luminous Energy to Charmeleon. That's surprising. I'm surprised that he did that. He must not have any Dragapults in his deck. I don't know why you would ever attach to the Charmeleon there, unless you want to combustion. Is that the idea? No, he's got the Slight Intrusion anyway. Burning Darkness. I don't see... Oh, and he doesn't... Infernal Rain? Not sure. Not sure how that's possible. Well, all I know is that I want to go ahead and take a swing into the Charizard while I can. While I have the opportunity to. So I'm going to go ahead here. And it would be really nice to begin charging up our Pokemon for some more attacks. But it doesn't look like that's what's going to happen just yet. I'll retreat into Miraidon. The Switch is going to enable another attack. Not going to tandem unit. Don't want the Pikachu. And I'm going to Photon Blaster for 220. Now the Charizard is under threat because he's going to get knocked out next turn. We do have some Switch shenanigans that we can do to get out of the active and then back into the active. I'm not sure why he didn't Infernal Rain. I guess it's possible that he's prized all of his fire energy. But if that's the case, then I'm not sure why. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I actually have no explanation for my opponent's behavior. they're going to make it now so that, oh, they don't have a Dragapult. Yeah, so I don't think it's possible for our opponent to win the game here. In fact, we're just going to take a little bit of an easier route, and Crispin, the simplest way to do this is actually just going to be to play the Miraidon route. And we'll put this in our hand, and we'll attach here, and then we'll use the metal. That way we can still preserve the basic psychic energy to attach to our Clefairy so that we can swing at any point. And then we can just Miraidon switch back and forth to attack with our Miraidons because we have the Latias. Pretty interesting. You know, I haven't played this deck very much, but it's never come up that the play was to back-to-back Miraidon over and over with the Latias as the pivot between the two. That's pretty cool, though. I think that's a unique, interesting, has a unique and interesting feel to it. So we do have an Iron Hands, but at this point, we don't have enough. Actually, we might have enough Lightning Energy. I know we play 5, and we have 4 in play. So if the last one isn't prized, which I don't know if it is or if it isn't, then we can attack with Joltik for a lot of damage, or rather Galvantula. And we can also attack with the Iron Hands. The cool thing about playing Miraidon is that you can forget what you have in your deck all the time and just tandem unit to search and look and see what you got. That's pretty useful. I do like that. So we're going to take advantage of that naturally, and we're going to tandem unit next turn just to see what we have in the deck. And honestly, we don't mind getting unfair stamped very much, because as long as we get into a Mew, then we have, oh, that's actually pretty ideal. We have boss's orders, which helps a lot. And then if we really wanted to, we could throw everything away and get our Mew. But in fact, Mew is prized, and we know that. Let's go ahead and tandem unit just to look through the deck again, just to see if there's a Lightning Energy. We do have a Bloodmoon Ursaluna, which could come in handy. And we have plenty of energy left, none of it lightning. So our Lightning Energy is in the prize cards. Do we want to put our Iron Hands in play? I don't see a necessity in doing that, and it would just be a liability at this point. Do we want to put our Joltik in play? No, and I don't think we want the Pikachu either. So pretty simple. We can boss's orders and knock out the Fezandipiti, and then we'll be trying to figure out with 2 prize cards, maybe we get 1 lightning and that unlocks some options. I don't mind that. The alternative, though, is that we're going to be kind of stuck. Rather the drawback, not the alternative, is that we're going to be a little bit stuck, because we'll be limited in the plays we can make after we Photon Blaster here. But I'm going to go ahead and do it. Photon Blaster for the knockout on the Fezandipiti. Get 2 prize cards. Hopefully one of them is lightning, just so that we have the Galvantula option. And it is one of them. Excellent. We also have unlocked the Iron Hands option, but that's less important, because I don't think we're going to take a turn off the Jolting Charge. We can just keep alternating now between, we're not going to have our Mew draw, but unless Fezandipiti is in the discard pile, I think I saw it in the deck earlier, so I wouldn't mind Ultra Balling away the Iron Hands and the Pikachu. and as funny as it is as well, I can just tandem unit again to check and see if Fezandipiti is in the deck before I Ultra Ball, right? Because if I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball and commit, using that card to get the card that I don't need, that I don't want, that'd be really unfortunate. So the Charizard's going to swing for a lot of damage. It's going to be 4 times 3 is 120 more, which means it's going to hit for 300 damage. 180 plus 120. I've been practicing my Pokemon math because I was looking at the dice pips, and I was thinking about how difficult it is sometimes to count them all up and then figure out how much damage that is, and then subtract that from their health to figure out what their remaining health is, so you can quickly make a decision. And Burning Darkness for 300. Pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and promote the Joltik, because if we do find out that we have the guy, I think he just one-shots the Charizard. So we'll go ahead and tandem unit and see if we have Galvantula We do have the Galvantula in the deck. That's excellent. So what we're going to do is Ultra Ball, getting rid of our Iron Hands and our Pikachu. We're going to pull out the Galvantula, attach him to the active, evolve him, and attach Lightning Energy. And with Compound Eyes, we do Shocking Web does 50 damage. It does 80 more if you do have Lightning Energy attached, and we do. So we're doing 13. Then we're doing 180 because the Pokemon in the active has an ability. And so 180 times 2 is 360, which is more than enough to knock out our opponent. So we're going to go ahead and Shocking Web to take the knockout. No cards in hand. And take our last 2 prize cards from the Charizard. Beautiful. And there's our Mew, just as we realized that we prized from checking the deck about 700 times. Alright, we're going to choose a Pokemon to drag. Drag a basic. Why is that so funny to me? We're going to go ahead and drag Pikachu's dumbass to our basic active spot. And then we're going to hit done. I'm not going to put the Fezandipiti in play. I'd rather have Pikachu as a bit of a wall. We do take free damage to the Heat Tackle, but it's all good. I'll probably go ahead and put the Grass Energy just so the next turn, if we do it to Crispin, we can swing for 300. It's not ideal, but we could send something to the Shadow Realm with La Fuerza right away. If it's like a little, imagine it's a Charmander or like a Charmeleon. Oh, we see a Pidgey. I wouldn't mind bossing that up and killing that for 100,000 prize cards. Ooh, switch into Call for Family? Is that what we're going to see? Hopefully he doesn't call for another Pidgey. Because if he's greedy, he's thinking, oh, there's no way he's going to knock out my Pidgey. I'm going to have it. But he's not going to have it because my best play... Yeah, okay. So he does. He does bench conservatively. Pretty wise move on his part. We have 3 chances to get something that's not horrible. Let's go ahead and take our first chance. We do get the Crispin and we get the Boss. So we have choices. Boss or Crispin? Boss or Crispin? Crispin's terrible here, but we're going to get Crispin. And then we're going to Pokégear again. If we were serious about Pokégearing, like if we were serious about Crispining this turn, we would just straight away... You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. I want the Metal Energy. I want... The other one that's hard to get is the... I can't get 2 metal. Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. We'll take this, attach here, and then with our manual attachment, we'll go ahead and rock this out. And just to be funny, really, for no reason other than that, we're going to Topaz Bolt for 600 damage on this Pidgey. So, goodbye, Pidgey. Farewell. He called out for his family, and then his lifespan was promptly curtailed, just as it should have been. So, we still have our Resolute Heart active. Not really worried about that. Probably going to take a turn off next turn and get Arven and get something reasonable going. Probably get a ball card. Oof. Unfortunately, we want multiple ball cards because we can't get Switch. We can't attach 2 energy. We're in a really awkward spot. Realistically, the better play was to use the other Pokégears. But, and there's a chance it was to get the boss, but I highly doubt that. They're playing the Growlithe. Relentless Flames. Oh my god. Imagine that being significant. Flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 30 damage for each heads. My girlfriend would go crazy with this card. She cannot lose a coin flip. Ever. Well, she can't lose a dice roll. She can lose a coin flip. But she can't, I swear, she's got dice loading capabilities on her fingers, on her fingernails. Her fingernails are blessed and imbued with dice rolling magic. That's why she goes to the nail salon so often. That's why. So we do, normally we'd get knocked out, but we do have the Resolute Heart. And so we're just fine. We're chilling. We're not tripping. We're stressing about anything. We did get a ball card, thank God. So do we use it before we Pokégear? Yes. And we just want to get Miraidon to thin the deck out. The other option is to Depends on if we get Joltik. Thing is, yeah, we want Miraidon. We still need Arven. We still need Arven. So tandem unit, Joltik is one of them for sure. And then we haven't decided yet, what do we actually want to swing with this game? Are we going to try to do Miraidons back-to-back? That could be reasonable, not the worst idea. Are we going to try to go an Iron Hands angle? I don't think that's going to work this game, unfortunately. If we do charge up the Iron Hands, we could take a crazy knockout into the Pidgeotto. We could get some of these liabilities with Boss's Orders, but it's just so much of a commitment to our energy that it would be troublesome. I think I want the option though. Yeah, let's get the option for hands. Then we're gonna Pokégear. This is crucial. This is where this is for all the marbles. We get Crispin. We still want to pull it out of the deck. We don't want it, but we want to pull it out of the deck. That does give us the switch, by the way. So if we're down really bad, Crispin effectively works as a switch. And then we're gonna Pokégear. This is what we really want, is the Arven. Ooh, and we manifested it. It's like when I know it's coming, it just comes. And then we're gonna play the Arven. Since I wanted it so bad, let's figure out why I wanted it. I don't actually remember. For one thing, we have Rescue Board, which is pretty clutch. We also have Prime Catcher. We also have Latias for a ball card. We have a lot of options now. Charizard, Galvantula is a thing. We could get, let's see, do we have the Galvantula in the deck? We do. So that's going to be, definitely going to be one of our preferred ways of taking a knockout into a Charizard. So we'll go ahead and set that up next. We have to set it up this turn, because if we don't set it up this turn with a Nest Ball, there's going to be a problem. We're not going to be able to evolve it into a Galvantula next turn for the knockout. So, in fact, yeah, we did have to bench the Joltik this turn, so that's the drawback, right? So we still have quite the interesting game on our hands. We'll go ahead and Nest Ball. This time, oddly enough, it is going to be for a Joltik. The other option is to do it for a Miraidon. If we lose a Pokemon, it's all the same. Let's do that. We'll do a Miraidon. That way we can get a Joltik. We don't have a script to flip regardless. So go ahead and just get the Joltik. That way we have two different options. I don't see him playing any ghosts or anything like that. So that'll be just fine. And let's attach like this. We'll retreat into the Joltik. And we've got some options. Jolting Charge. This time I think what we're going to do is attach one so we got some options. We're gonna attach one here. Okay. We're gonna look at our hand. We're gonna attach one here. And then we'll put the other two on the Iron Hands and just skip Miraidon completely, I think. So our ways of getting prize cards are going to be the Galvantula, if we can find it, and Iron Hands Boss on Pidgeot. So the cool thing is that we can do a metric ton of damage to the Pidgeot. The unfortunate thing is that if we want to take extra prize cards, we would have to have the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, which we don't have. The other thing we could have, though, is a Defiance Band. So if somehow we draw into the Defiance Band, because they are technically ahead in prizes, then we're in business. So because I have Boss's Orders, and that is such a good play. Oh, no, okay, so I don't actually have the guaranteed. So I've got to go for the Boss into the Pidgeot play, basically here, because while I can attack with the Charizard, or rather the Joltik, I don't have it yet. So I'm not guaranteed to get it. We do have Prime Catcher, so then all of our options become available, especially as we flip the script first. Go ahead and do that. And we get Arven. And we have Ultra Ball. So with Prime Catcher, Ultra Ball, Arven, all these tools at our disposal, we're looking pretty good. The thing is, his Burning Darkness is not doing the most damage. Pidgeot is going to allow him to find anything he needs. So he's definitely got Candy or Charizard in this hand. So he's going to have no trouble generating another Charizard. So for that reason, I'm thinking we just make it. This is what we got to do. We're just going to boss the Pidgeot because it's more beneficial for him to have access to his Pidgeot than it is for us to have. Basically, if I could choose one for him to lose, I want him to lose the Pidgeot. And so how are we going to do it? Definitely going to attach here. That way our Galvantula is ready next turn. And we should potentially leave it as a surprise so that our opponent is not even aware of it. I don't know that we even need to evolve into the Galvantula because we'd have to sacrifice 2 Arven or we'd have to sacrifice a Crispin. We'd have to sacrifice a lot. So we can take a turn off and chill because we're not going to use it this turn. And we are going to have to arm press so that we do the full 320 damage to take the 2 prize cards. And we'll choose 4 and 1 to gain 2 bosses orders. So we have 3 bosses orders so far seen. 2 in our hand, 4 in the deck in total. So that's pretty good. Imagine getting 2 bosses orders off the prize cards. Pretty crazy. It could come in handy, especially if we have to charge up the Miraidon at a certain point. Then we might be taking some prize cards with the Fezandipiti. The great thing about this deck that I love so much now as I play it more is the fact that the Ursaluna is such a useful attacker. Like the Ursaluna just goes crazy. If I were playing this into a deck that was awkward, had an awkward amount of HP, like our Chaludon with the what would you call it? Our Chaludon with the Hero's Cape, then I would probably be more inclined to use the Miraidons as attackers than I have been. The other option is to just use Iron Hands to swing with Arm Press more often because he's pretty decent in that way. You know what? The Iron Hands is actually better as an attacker unless you need to hit it in 1 KO. Yeah, I've been sleeping. I think sometimes I've been, and just as we mentioned it, there it is. Good thing we have so many bosses. So I think the thing we're going to do is obviously just start things out by putting our... And we have Pokégears, we have Arvens. What are we more likely to find if the deck gets all shuffled up? Not sure. So there is a objectively better play here, but I'm not sure which one it is. We could also Crispin. Let's see how much the Galvantula is going to do. I don't think the Galvantula is going to do enough damage to take the... Let's see if he takes 2 more prize cards. We'll be fine. So we'll go ahead and flip the script here. We have the Nest Ball, so we have a lot of options open. Bloodmoon Ursaluna is going to get us the Fezandipiti. So I think we just want to leave the Bloodmoon Ursaluna in the deck as something that he cannot pull out. And I'll go ahead and just start things out by Ultra Balling. Then I don't think we'll regret getting rid of this basic Psychic Energy. And we're probably not going to regret getting rid of 1 of our 3 bosses orders. There's a chance we could want some other card though. And you know what? Let's just do the Counter Catcher. I'd feel better about getting rid of that than one of the bosses. So we do have the Galvantula, we do have the Bloodmoon Ursaluna, we know that. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Galvantula. And then I'm going to search through the deck just to see. We have Pokégear, 2 Bravery Charms, we have 2 energy. So we have energy for Crispin. And that's helpful, but we're running out of lightning. So in fact, our only attackers left are Bloodmoon, and it's very useful for us to know that. It's good for us to know that our only attackers left are Bloodmoon and the other guy. So in this Galvantula. So I'll go ahead and just boss the Charizard. I will retreat into the Galvantula. And the only thing I'm debating is, do I make my life a little bit easier here and get the Bloodmoon. Because if I don't, then I cannot guarantee, oh, I can, because I can always chase the Growlithe down. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't think we regret getting Bloodmoon Ursaluna here. We do have the Prime Catcher. We do have the ability to flip the script. Even if he kills our Bloodmoon Ursaluna, we'll be just fine. So for now, we're going to Shocking Web for 360 damage to completely obliterate the Charizard. And we'll take our 2 prizes, which will be a Lightning and a Mew. So our opponent's going to choose his active, and it's going to be, naturally, the giant caped Charizard. 430 damage is an insane number. It's funny that we were talking about Hero's Cape, and then damn near at the moment that we keep summoning things into existence. Damn near at the moment that we mentioned Hero's Cape, here it came into the match. So I'm hoping, by the way, my gardener is doing my landscaping outside. I'm hoping you guys are not hearing any of those noises. Hopefully the settings that I have in OBS and on my microphone are such that that is not an issue. He's going to get rid of a liability, which is going to be the Fezandipiti. That's interesting. But he still has the Growlithe. So that's even more of a liability. Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense, actually. Maybe he just wanted to... You can only flip the script once, that's the thing. So he was checking to see if he could flip the script twice. Once during your turn, if any of your Pokemon were knocked out, then you can draw 3 cards. And you can't use more than 1 flip the script ability each turn. So it's that last line that really cements it, that locks it in, that says, nope, you don't get it. So we'll just do it a fun way with the Prime Catcher, because it doesn't really matter. We'll go ahead and do the Miraidon. And then we'll go ahead and Prime Catcher. Because he's taken so many prize cards, we just attach energy. And we Bloodmoon for knockout. And that's a good game. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. It was my pleasure to have you.